This time on Superstars, the nun, the nanny, the nerd, the knight, and the nymphomaniac. The very proper Julie Andrews may never have dropped an H, but she has bared her breasts on the big screen. In 1981, her director husband Blake Edwards somehow persuaded her to go topless in a scene of the comedy S.O.B. The following year, he had her masquerading as a female impersonator in the hilarious Victor Victoria with Robert Preston. But try as she might, nothing could corrupt the virginal, wholesome image carved in stone by her back-to-back portrayals of quintessentially English nannies.
I did try many times to do very many different things to sort of show a certain kind of range. The truth is that films like Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music just obscured any other movies because they were such huge successes.
She's not wrong there. After its release in 1964, Mary Poppins quickly became the biggest hit in Walt Disney's history, and Julie's big screen debut landed her a Best Actress Oscar, as well as the heart of every pre-teen in the Western world. Celebrating the film's 40th anniversary with a special DVD launch, the Mary Poppins juggernaut showed no signs of running out of gas.
It's amazing. It's an absolute joy. The film was a joy to make. It was the first movie I ever made. I could not have been more royally treated by Disney, and I really mean from the bottom of my heart. It's given me so much pleasure over the years, and you know how much pleasure it's given to so many people. I mean, how lucky can you get to be asked to be part of that legend?
Scoring an Oscar first time out would surely have made up for being passed over for the role of Eliza Doolittle in the big screen version of My Fair Lady, despite making the part her own on Broadway. The following year, she soared to even headier heights as the errant nun Maria in The Sound of Music, which became the biggest grossing movie of all time. And on the 40th anniversary of her second blockbuster, she recalled the filming of the movie's most famous hilltop sequence.
I walked from one end of the field and the helicopter came at me kind of crab-like sideways towards me with a very brave cameraman hanging out the side of it with a camera. And the idiocy is that the downdraft from the jets kept leveling me to the grass the minute the take was over. Every time the helicopter went around me to go back and start again, I bit the dust. And it's kind of ridiculous. I kept saying, you know, why do I have to keep being knocked down? And I got kind of testy about it, but all I ever got when I tried to signal to the pilot to make a wider circle, he just would give me a thumbs up and say, doing great.
She went on to have more massive hits with Thoroughly Modern Millie and Hitchcock's Torn Curtain. But her big screen career went into a steady decline after that, so she took to the stage again in 1995 for the Broadway version of Victor Victoria, until an operation to remove nodes from her vocal cords left her unable to sing. But that didn't halt the revival of her movie career as the grandmother of the future Queen of Genovia in The Princess Diaries.
Little girls are thrilled, and if they spot that I'm the lady that was in Princess Diaries. I think they have a little bit of difficulty equating that lady with Mary Poppins, and it's especially little ones. They don't quite get it. You know, if I'm this person, how could I have been that person? But it's wonderful for me because it just it reacquaints me with children, or them with me. I'm not sure which.
And as the voice of Princess Fiona's mother in the blockbusting animated franchise Shrek, She's bought herself a lot of credits with the grandkids.
Oh, I suppose any grandchildren I could expect from you would be...
Ogres. Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Right, Harold?
Oh, no, of course not. That is
I'd like to think I'm sort of cool. I don't know if I am. I feel hopelessly out of my depth when I see how hard my children work as parents, looking after these lovely grandchildren. But in some ways, I guess, they kind of like it, particularly that movies like The Princess Diaries and Shrek. I mean, I rate very tall with my kids. After I did Shrek, I was home free.
Often described as a sexier version of Julie Andrews, Emma Thompson has also made a career out of playing painfully well-mannered English women. Born in London in 1959 to actor parents, Emma won her right to condescension by graduating from Cambridge University. During her stay, she had a relationship with fellow acting luminary Hugh Laurie, who went on to marry actor-director highbrow Kenneth Branagh, with whom she starred in Dead Again.
Maybe I like you.
How far back are you?
1948.
Now, his world
Evelyn
is
Waugh
about to
classic
change.
Howard Zinn brought her her first Oscar in 1992.
What I do find a major irritation.
The following year, she had a huge hit opposite Anthony Hopkins in Remains of the Day.
No offense intended, of course.
Oh, none taken.
And in 1995, her writing skills earned her another Oscar for her adapted screenplay of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. A year later, she embarked on another ambitious writing project. Nanny McPhee finally made it to the big screen in 2005.
Good evening, Mr. Brown. I am Nanny McPhee.
I found this sort of old little withered copy of a book called Nurse Matilda. It's not called Nanny McPhee. And I looked at the cover, and the illustration was of this little squat, dumpy lady knocking at the door. There was something in the way she was standing, and the beauty of that illustration by this fantastic illustrator, who I know well from other books, Edward Artisoni. And I sat down, stopped dusting, sat down, read the book, and this was 9 years ago. And I thought to myself, there's something about her changing, the way in which she changes from this little squat figure into a sort of... It's less interesting by the time she's actually changed, but the actual process of change, I thought, that might make quite a good film.
Going where most other glamorous actresses would fear to tread, she was happy to ugly up for the role.
We can't get up. Can't sit down,
You know, there was a kid who asked me quite recently, he came up to me and said, very seriously, did you mind being ugly? And I said, no, I loved it. Because, of course, it's a completely liberating thing. You know, we girls spend so much time far too much time thinking about our appearances, because we live in a society where we're constantly drawn to comparing ourselves with other people. And comparing yourself with anyone else, girls, listen to what I'm saying and believe me, is a complete waste of time. Because you are you and your beauty is within. And the point about Nanny McPhee is that which is loved is always beautiful. Just his time.
The subject of love took centre stage in the 2003 film Love Actually, in which she plays a wife who discovers her husband is having a midlife crisis liaison with his secretary.
Young to be in love?
No.
Oh, well, okay.
Your secretary.
Saying no to the supporting role was never an option.
Yes, I think you get actually. I think people come around and beat you up if you say no to Richard Curtis in my country. You know, it's compulsory.
In 2006, she ventured back over the Atlantic to play a novelist in the all-star comedy Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell and Dustin Hoffman. And it seems Emma's on-set charms may have rather overwhelmed her co-stars.
I've been married for 26 years. Will's been married for a number of years and has a child, and his wife is pregnant again, and yet both of us fought over Emma. Both Will and I almost left our wives to run away with Emma. And this was something that she almost broke. I am not making it. I don't lie to interviewing people. She almost broke up both our marriages.
He's not well. He's on drugs. Don't listen to it. Anyway.
Are you going to deny this in front of everyone?
No, of course not.
Thank
I'm
you.
not denying anything.
Thank you. See,
So was Emma doing...
Owen Wilson may not quite have Emma Thompson's pedigree, but he's certainly well connected. He's part of a mutual appreciation society affectionately known as the Frat Pack, which includes Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, Steve Carell and his brother Luke, all of whom frequently work on each other's movies. He was born in Texas in 1968. His trademark wonky nose reportedly the result of 13 childhood mishaps.
What are you doing here? I thought you were going to
He first worked with Wes Anderson in Bottle Rocket in 1996. But he got his big break in the comedy action hit Shanghai Noon with Jackie Chan. Then came 2001 Zoolander with Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell.
Oh, no.
Where'd all the files go?
In 2003, he starred in the remake of 70s TV classic Starsky and Hutch once again with good mate Ben Stiller. He was also tempted to capitalise on the chemistry he discovered with Jackie Chan by teaming up for the Shanghai Night sequel. His next big screen comedy partner was Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers.
I'm ready to get drunk.
The two wags clearly had so much in common, they were able to improvise on set.
I think we only use 10% of our hearts.
There was a lot of ad-libbing and improvising, but a lot of the work was done sort of meeting with the writers and the director before filming began. But all during the course of filming, one of the fun things about doing this movie was kind of getting with Vince in the morning or meeting on the weekends with David and Vince and going over stuff and kind of coming up with stuff. So all through the movie, we're sort of fine-tuning stuff and always kind of trying to make stuff funnier.
Okay, what's our backstory?
We're brothers from New Hampshire. We're venture capitalists.
Sick of that. Let's be from Vermont.
The scheming divorce mediators who crash weddings to pick up struck a nerve with audiences who took the movie's worldwide haul to a whopping $283 million. Perhaps their antics even sparked a wave of copycat crashings.
What do you think holds it up, Slick?
I hope we do start off a craze. I hope that there are a lot of copycat crashers out there, and I hope they give homage to Vince and I.
No explanation.
But the shenanigans of his next big on-screen character were unlikely to spawn any real-life imitations. There was very little to recommend the loser Dupree, who outstays his welcome on the couch of his newly married best friend. Even though he played plenty of embarrassing dorks, running out into the street naked took him to new depths of humiliation.
Because we filmed like in a real neighborhood, it was a little you know, embarrassing the first couple takes, running out, and the whole neighborhood's kind of turned out to watch the movie being filmed, and there I am running out naked. But after a while, I kind of started to get into it.
When? Yeah!
Oh, I'm wrecked.
Thankfully, he had plenty of his own experiences to draw from.
At my older brother's apartment, I did fall through the ceiling of his apartment, one of those kind of plaster ceilings, because I'd been locked out and I was trying to get in because he had taken a bunch of my clothes and stuff, and he was newly married, and falling through the roof, I guess, of his apartment, I guess, is the worst thing I've ever done. Yeah, well, I put up a poster like over the you know, the hole to try to disguise it, but he saw it straight away and called my parents and was threatening to have me arrested, and yeah, but it all blew over.
I really appreciate
Despite the less than appealing aspects of his character, Owen must have exuded enough behind-the-scenes charm to win the heart of leading lady Kate Hudson, who was married to Black Crowes frontman Chris Robinson at the time. 3 months after her divorce came through, the two officially became an item.
He's never truly been domesticated.
She went to a bridge fully dressed.
His low-key performances and penchant for art house movies make it easy to underestimate Ewan McGregor's superstar status.
and be gone.
In fact, he's rated at number 36 on Empire magazine's list of the top 100 movie stars of all time. He first earned admiration for his role in Danny Boyle's black comedy Shallow Grave in 1994. He was hired again to play the heroin-addicted rent boy in the big-screen version of Trainspotting. It was the first of 3 films in as many years that featured Ewan totally naked. After a 6-year run of independent movies, he succumbed to the lure of the mainstream. To play a young Obi-wan Kenobi in the prequels to George Lucas's Star Wars trilogy.
The best thing about being in the Star Wars films is kids coming up and asking you stuff about did you really cut Darth Maul in half and how did your lightsaber work and stuff. I love that because I love kids, you know. And before that, they couldn't see my movies because I was always up to no good in them, you know. And my daughter's seen it, you know, and she's looking forward to seeing this one, and that's nice. I couldn't show her anything else I'd been in.
His next blockbuster outing called upon his impressive musical credentials. Not only did Moulin Rouge catapult him into the coveted category of romantic leading man, it earned him his first Oscar nomination. And Ewan remembered to say thank you.
I'd like to thank Baz Luhrmann very much, and I'd like to thank her.
You're going out today.
The same year, he worked with Ridley Scott in Black Hawk Down.
Hell yeah.
And at the premiere of Star Wars: The Attack of the Clones, he knew he'd really made it.
This time I get to fly a really cool spaceship, a little starfighter of my own, which I got really excited about that.
He kept busy with 4 films in 2003, including Young Adam, in which he stripped off again, Big Fish with Albert Finney, and the Rock Hudson Doris Day homage Down with Love, opposite Renee Zellweger.
Oh, Sip, I've never seen anything so beautiful in all my life.
Neither have I.
The pair got on so well that when the opportunity arose to work with each other again in Miss Potter, Ewan jumped at the chance.
I think any film working with Renee would be perfect. She's just fantastic. She's one of our finest actresses, and she's just divine. So the idea of working with her at all is really appealing.
Mr. Norman Ward.
In the film, Ewan plays the enamoured publisher of legendary children's writer and illustrator Beatrix Potter.
Personally,
Yes.
this will be my first.
Ah.
I'm in every way at your service.
The crowd-pleasing romance was a far cry from the confronting subject matter of his next film, Stay, in which he plays a psychiatrist attempting to stop a young patient from committing suicide.
I've been waiting for you.
Mrs. Latham, do you know how to contact your son? I'm a psychiatrist.
You're a bleeder.
I spoke to Maureen Latham an hour ago.
Away from the big screen, he's married to a French production designer with whom he has 2 daughters. A keen motorcyclist, he took time out in 2004 to embark on a marathon ride with his friend Charlie Borman, from London to New York. The trip was caught on camera and turned into a television series called Long Way Round. The series was so successful, Ewan and Charlie have taken on another trip to South Africa. Since appearing in Moulin Rouge, Ewan has also kept up with the singing, making his stage musical debut in the West End revival of Guys and Dolls, alongside Jane Krakowski and Jenna Russell.
When we got to the rehearsal rooms, it was certainly the one area of the musical I hadn't really considered. I'd thought a lot about the singing and, you know, obviously the acting, and the one area I hadn't really thought very much about was the choreography. And when we started rehearsing the Havana sequence, I did wonder whether we were going to be able to pull it off, you know, because it's a lot.
While his lack of vocal strength came in for some stick from reviewers, he was praised for his character's conviction. And another role he plays with great conviction is that of UNICEF ambassador. On a recent trip to Malawi, he saw firsthand the devastating effects that the HIV/AIDS pandemic is having on children, and what still needs to be done to reach the thousands orphaned by AIDS.
We give it back to her.
Although Kim Cattrall wasn't a household name until it became synonymous with the sex-obsessed Samantha Jones in Sex and the City, her face was strangely familiar. Since scoring a contract with Universal Studios at the age of 17, the Canadian-English actress has rarely been out of work, appearing in tens of small and big-screen vehicles, including Police Academy, Porky's, Bonfire of the Vanities, Where Truth Lies, and Star Trek VI. She's also enjoyed a successful stage career, but for some reason it was the man-eating Sam that secured her place in the public consciousness, although Kim insists she doesn't share her alter ego's male-dependent outlook.
It's not about sneering the right man, it's about living your life and having a great time. And he'll show up, and if he doesn't, hey.
Not that she's got anything against men. In fact, she's been married and divorced 3 times. She reportedly dated ex-Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau and recently had a 2-year relationship with a chef 20 years her junior. She's happy to admit that sex is a very important part of her life, having written a book on the subject called Sexual Intelligence.
I don't consider myself a sex guru, and certainly not an expert. I think that I'm curious about sexuality. I think like many people. And because I played this sexual creature for 7 years, I think people look to me to express something sexually. And I think this could be quite a responsibility, but I have a sense of humor about it. I have fun with it. And that's what I'm expressing, especially with my second book, Sexual Intelligence, which is to bring intelligence, which everybody knows what that is, to something quite complex and mysterious and something that has been with us. We're all sexual creatures, but it kind of can be very difficult sometimes to understand and comprehend.
If the guy's a loser,
and far from demonizing the promiscuous Samantha, Kim sees her as a positive modern-day role model.
I could never have the responsibility of being Samantha, but I like what she represents. I think it's positive, and I think it's good for women to think about their sexuality, not just for their marriage, but for themselves. And sexuality, and this is also what Samantha inspires, can be in many different parts of your life, not just in the physical act. You can have a sensual experience no matter what you're doing, hard work or sex itself. So I think that is what I've come to, playing this modern-day Aphrodite.
7 years of swishing across the screen in killer designer outfits also turned Kim into a fashion icon, although her own style is a little more demure.
I think my color sense is a little softer, and my hemlines are a little longer, and maybe the plunging necklines are not so plunging. I met the ladies.
The long run of the HBO series came to an end in 2004, amid rumours of clashes between Kim and co-star Sarah Jessica Parker over pay and fame issues. Whatever the reason, the end of the show freed her up for other projects, such as a return to the stage.
Don't mind me, fellas. Just looking.
In 2005, she made her West End debut in Whose Life Is It Anyway? Despite spending the entire play flat on her back in bed, the role of Claire Harrison could not have been a farther cry from Sex and the City's Samantha. Left paralysed from the neck down after a car accident, the formerly talented sculptor is forced to contemplate her bleak future.
The proportion's all wrong. The texture's boring. You're getting the flamingo.
For Kim, returning to the theatre was a boon.
You think I was
I feel like I'm home. I come to my dressing room that has a little bed and a little table and cards from my friends, and I can't wait to get out there and tell my story every night. I'm very excited.
With another play and a Sex and the City movie in the offing, Kim is keeping the pedal to the metal on her late blossoming career.
Good. I literally work my ass off. I work hard, I exercise, and I diet, but it's not new for me. I've had to do it as an actor. You know, this is my Bechstein, my instrument. I have a piano, so I always equate it with an instrument because it's what I use when I work as an actor. So I think to keep in shape and to take care of myself is very natural to me. I'm trained to do it. And I like to do it. I want to live a long time.